Hello, hello, it's Simone. I'm here with my second layout working with the June Cocoa Daisy scrapbooking kits, and I am going to scrap these photos, and I'm going to use that paper that you see in the background there as a starting point for my layout. And I have printed those photos in two different sizes. Um, I want to scrap all three of those, and these are 3x4 photos, and the other ones that you will see that you just saw are 2x3 photos. So I use a app or website called PicMonkey to create my collages, and once I have a new computer, I will be able to do screen capture on my computer, and I will do a tutorial on how to create collages on your computer. So that then will be printed out as 4x6s and not be cut off and stuff like that. So I'm not sure if I want to use the 3x4 photos or the 4x6 photos, and I'm playing around with this for a long time. The items that you see on this background here now are actually planner items from the Cocoa Daisy planner kit. The blue pattern paper is from the Cocoa Daisy July planner kit. Those get sent out with the June scrapbooking kits at the same time, and usually both of them coordinate. The colors go well together, and you can actually see that here. This looks as if it was made to be meant for each other. And the paper on top of the pattern paper, the dark blue pattern paper, is actually a dashboard, a personal size dashboard. And I chose that not because of the colors, they go well, but because there were circles on there, and those reminded me of bubbles as well. And so I really liked having that element. I was debating in the beginning if I wanted to do some mixed media, since those bubbles, you could stamp circles or, well, use a stencil. You could do a lot of things with the bubble theme, have circles, but I didn't really want to do that with this. So that circle element on that dashboard was really what drew me in and what made me create this layout in the end. So I decided I was not going to use the pattern paper as a whole. It just didn't feel right, and I cut it up according to the colors, and then used the yellow and the corally grid as two horizontal background strips, and then started to build my layout on top of that. And I'm also using the dark blue as a horizontal element, and I really like that as a start, or the base. This is probably what you could call the base of the layout. And the rest is just figuring out where and how it's going to work out. So you can see me playing around a lot, and then I have a revelation, which is I do not have to use all three 2x3 photos or all three 4x3 photos. I could actually use one 4x3 and two 2x3 photos, which totally makes sense because one is then the main photo, the focus photo, and the other two are just there to help tell the story. And the story is not really that big or that enormous. It just, when I looked at those photos, they were taken in 2010 when my now 10-year-old was 3.5, and there's not a big story to this. He just held the thing up high. I don't really know the word for those bubbles and the instrument that you use to make them. And he was so concentrated, and he was so fascinated by the fact that he just had to hold it up, and the wind would blow those bubbles through the instrument. And it was just, there was so much love inside of me for this child. And that was exactly the same way I felt when I looked through those photos, that I thought I need to scrapbook those. So that's what I did. I printed the pictures and scrapbooked them. So now I decide that I would just stretch out this dashboard a little more and cut it in half because I wanted to have it to be visible there in the layout, not only on the left side, but also on the right side. So I was able to cover up the gap with the photos on top, but since I put them higher and staggered them, it didn't there was a gap on the at the bottom. And so I needed to cover that up. And now I'm auditioning several papers for this job. And I really fuzz a long time with deciding on what paper to use and how many different strips I want in the background. So you can see me playing. So I'm thinking about using that 4x6 card, but it's just too big. I would have been a perfect journaling spot for that, but it didn't work. So then I see this. This is actually the back side of the blue scripty paper that I have already on the layout. And first of all, it went with the teal turquoise colors that were on the dashboard. And it just helped, reinforce that color on the layout. And then it also had those dots, which were somehow something having to do with bubbles. So I thought that would be fitting. And then I'm taking everything off and starting to place the things and glue things down. I'm not using that much glue at this point because I'm still not sure if this is actually the way I want to go. I'm making sure when I am creating layouts. This is something I think I learned from Chimel, and this layout actually has quite the Chimel feeling to me. When I started it and I had this horizontal strip and the vertical strip, this looks very much like Chimel. So I love watching her videos and I love the way she scrapbooks. And so I decided to just keep not copying her because I didn't have a layout that I scrap lifted or anything in mind. Just, hearing her voice in the back of my mind telling me that there's trapped space, that she usually makes sure she's not she's overlapping and creating interesting corners, and that things don't line up where you don't intentionally line them up. So that is what I'm just doing here in essence, and that is how this whole layout turns out in the end. And I really, really like how it works out in the end. So, but what I wanted to have on this layout, I wanted to use the banner. I wanted to use several chipboard shapes from the chipboard sheet from Freckled Fawn. That was from their July kit. I didn't purchase the whole kit. I just purchased the elements that I really liked. And especially with this kit in mind, because I thought that it would work really well with the papers and embellishments that were in the Cocoa Daisy kit. And so I want to make sure that I actually use it. So I went through the chipboards because that's something I struggle with using. I think so, at least. But since I'm making a point in using chipboard all the time, it gets easier more and more. So I'm going through all of the die cuts and embellishments that I pulled for this kit, which is the embellishments or die cuts from the Day in the Life kit for June from Cocoa Daisy. Those are journaling cards from that kit. It is also a summer collection from Simple Stories that has been really old. I think it is from 2014 or even older, but I still have some of this left. And since it's summer, I'm scrapping summer layouts. I thought maybe it could work, even though the colors don't really go well. So, and actually there's one teeny tiny cut apart paper from the 6x6 paper pad that does make it on the layout. So I'm thinking about maybe adding another vertical line by those by using those 2 3x4 journaling cards, but that just, it doesn't look right. So I scratched that idea. And then I realized that the pink paper doesn't really make it back on the layout, but that's okay. I pulled that label tag, but it's too light. It doesn't have enough weight on that side. I need to find another solution for that. I want to add in some more yellow embellishments, so I added this label underneath. Then I pulled out this something with, I can't really see it now, but it worked with the topic and the feelings that I had, and so I just added that down there. I'm still debating whether I want to have this tag there, but I'm coming back to this journaling card, and I really like the saying on there, and I would have loved to use it, but it just didn't work. It was too yellow, it didn't stand out, and I didn't have a journaling spot. So when I saw the back of the layout of the 3x4 journaling card, I thought, well, there is some yellow and there is a journaling spot. Why don't I just use it this way? It's better to use it this way than not at all, right? So I'm trying to add more and more. So I thought about the scripty word summer, and so to make this, I didn't make you watch me fuzz around because it was really hard to find the embellishments that I wanted. I added this clip from, this is an Illustrated Faith clip. I really like those. I wasn't sure if I would use them actually, but now it ended up on a layout, which I didn't think I would do at all. I'm adding more of those hexagons. I wanted to have more than only one. It just doesn't feel right to only add one hexagon, and I wanted to have them on there, so I added one that didn't have a saying or a picture on it, and just added it underneath the title so that you could see that there was some kind of hexagon thing going on there. And then I used the chipboard alpha stickers that came in the kit to create my title. And it's a very E-heavy title, and now I don't have any E's left. So I need to be very creative with the titles in the future. I also used the sticker that says beach, that sign. I really liked it on there. It's a nice way to get started and looking at the layout. Like an intro into the layout there with the arrow pointing towards the pictures and the beach. And then I start adding some more stickers and labels to the clusters that I have already started to create. Those were not really intentional clusters, they just happened, and so I decide to just reinforce those and make them more valid that way. And as you can see, I used that cut apart sheet on or element from the 6x6 paper patch, and I really like, even though the color isn't already in the layout, it really, in my opinion, it absolutely works. And I added a little bit of orange there with the wonderful, and then I'm looking if I can add in even more, but I think I'm almost done. I find a spot for this red chipboard, and then I think that's it, and I'm starting to glue down everything. Yeah, you don't really have to use glue on your stickers and your chipboard letters, but I have, can you see how I can easily move those around? I didn't press them on, but they are sticky on the back, but they are easily removed and they move around. So I'm just going to make sure to use my wet adhesive, which is mono multi adhesive, and to glue the letters down. It's better to be safe than sorry in the end, I guess. So yeah, and that is, you can see I didn't like the banner at the top, but I really like how it helps emphasize the title cluster thing there. And then I'm going to stick down the happy days, I think it says, on the top, and that is concludes my layout. No, it doesn't. There is one more strip that I add, and it really helps to pop up the journaling spot there. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for being part of my YouTube tribe. I really appreciate each and every comment and each and every new subscriber. I couldn't be more happy with what I'm doing right now. There are a couple of more videos on screen right now. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I will see you next time. Until then, bye! Oh, and I'm curious, what are you creating right now? Please leave a comment below.